Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So we're back. The sweater isn't even cold. I just put it back on because it's fast. Things move fast in January 2025. So I want to go ahead and talk about this because I think a lot of people, they don't have the proper perspective on what is happening. And I want to bring a sense of reality to this discussion. So, for anybody in the world who doesn't know, which I don't know how you wouldn't, TikTok was banned yesterday, last night, and then it came back this afternoon. This is the 19th today. I'm going to post this on the 20th though. So essentially what it looks like, and my first impression of this whole thing was we have the 90 days. This is a 90-day fiance moment, okay? So essentially, it says right here, Trump says he will issue an executive order to delaying the U.S. TikTok ban. So that means that through the law that was passed in Congress that Biden signed, you, as president, can delay the enforcement of this law for 90 days, essentially, to give more time for TikTok to divest or whatever from China. So I think a lot of people are kind of shell-shocked. I'm not. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some experience that I have with this type of thing. To me, this was very much giving takedown energy. So I used to work in television, and I was just like a television service provider, customer service rep or whatever. I actually did tech support. But essentially what's happening right now is called a takedown. So it's something that's done in negotiations. I haven't seen this be done with the government though. That's kind of weird. But essentially what TikTok did is it is something to take it away so that you can have a sort of public outcry or a protest for something being taken down to apply pressure to a situation. That's what TikTok just did. This happens all the time in TV. If you have like a satellite TV company or cable or whatever, if you guys remember that, some of you guys probably don't remember, have never really had one, but a lot of you guys have, obviously. But essentially what happens is certain companies have to get licensing or, whatever. You have to pay for the privilege, so to speak, to broadcast a channel on your service. And each year, these services, they negotiate. And if a negotiation cannot be met, as they typically ask for more money each year, the service provider has to make the calculated decision on if they're going to raise the cost or not. If they're going to raise how much they're paying for the channel or not. They have to kind of see, like, does this channel matter for our overall clientele, et cetera, et cetera. And if it doesn't fit within their equation, they continue negotiations. And so what happens is that company takes their channel down and they blame it on the service provider. So it's like, let's say, for example, I was working for, I'm not going to say what company it was, but there was this, I think it was Major League Baseball channel or something. My Lord. You would not believe the amount of calls I got over that. But essentially the company I worked for, they could not make a deal with that. And so what happened is if they can't make a deal, the channel is gone permanently and it never comes back. And I would get calls about the baseball channel literally like almost a year after it was gone. And it was like, it's never coming back. And you literally had to get to a point where you just told customers, like, it's never going back. It's never coming back. And they're like, well, I'm going to leave then, da-da-da. And you don't really have an argument because it isn't coming back because they were charging too much, according to the company I worked for. To me, this is very similar to that. So essentially what's happening, a lot of people are thinking that TikTok is just back. Yay, it's over. Da, da, da. No. Not even close, babes. You got 90 days, which means that it would be around April, sometime in April. If it is banned still, if China does not sell it, then it's gone forever. Then it can't come back unless if there's an act of Congress, which is extremely unlikely to happen as the Congress is very supportive of this ban. And it doesn't matter who's president. The only thing, Biden could have vetoed it, but he signed it. Trump can't executive order away a law. You can't do that. So essentially, Congress would have to act again to say China doesn't have to sell it in order to bring it back. And then Trump would have to sign that law in, which it was up for the Supreme Court. They heard it out, but the Supreme Court pretty much decided, like, this is a law that was passed by Congress and signed by the president. Like, there's no way that we can just block this, basically. So it would require an act of Congress, which, like I said, Congress does not seem in favor of TikTok whatsoever. So we will see what happens. Even within this article, it does describe this. So let me see here. I saw it here. The law also allows the president to grant a one-time extension of not more than 90 days before the law kicks in, something Trump told NBC News on Saturday he would most likely seek to do. But the law also says the extension can only be granted if the president certifies to Congress that a path to executing a qualified divestiture has been identified and that evidence of significant progress towards executing such qualified divestiture has been produced. So it's very, very, very tenuous, is what I'm trying to say. So don't think that it's just back, because it's not necessarily back. The war is still going on, so to speak. The battle of TikTok versus the US government is still occurring. And I personally am not convinced that China is going to sell this app. They might. If they do, I will be surprised. And I'll be like, okay, I guess TikTok is safe, or it's going to stay. If they don't sell it, then it's going to go bye-bye in April, permanently. And there will be no recourse, like I said, other than an act of Congress, which is extremely unlikely to happen and probably will not happen. Let's just be so for real. So I think what we have to do is just, you have to, the rest of it is just, it's not as relevant. I just wanted to make that part clear, that this is not safe. It is uncertain. TikTok may still go bye-bye. So everything I said in my video yesterday still applies, what I'm trying to say. So I don't want you to think, oh gosh, Alex ain't with it. He don't know. No, I know. Like I said, I've done this, and there are times where takedowns and things like that, they are permanent. And that's essentially what TikTok did. They did a takedown. So they took down their app to force public opinion, to force action. And the Biden administration and the Trump administration have both shifted their positions on the app because of that social pressure of people being upset about it. With Biden saying, well, we're not going to enforce the ban on his last day, and Trump saying, I'm going to extend it, even though they both wanted to ban it in the past. So essentially, it requires Congress. You know, in the United States, the president is not the emperor. Like, the president cannot just decide everything willy-nilly all the time. This is something that would require congressional support to shift, or China will have to sell the app to some extent. Which, like I said, I don't personally think China will. That's my opinion. So, what does that mean? What does this matter? What does any of this matter as far as fat acceptance, as far as the movement, as far as anti-FA, all these different things? What matters is essentially this. If you are in anti-fat acceptance, you need to start preparing for the possibility of a permanent ban. You need to start phasing to different types of content, start looking at other things. You need to start strategizing, please. Like I said, I don't want anybody to quit, and it's not certain. If TikTok is sold, then it will stay. Then you can feel more comfortable. My advice for anybody whose businesses depend on TikTok, evolve your business. Don't depend on TikTok because it may not be around. And once it's gone in April, if it is gone, it will be gone forever. So you have to think of this time as kind of like a soft launch, or like, okay, I can still use this for now, but maybe not. And most people will probably be only using past stuff, because what this does for TikTok creators, especially within fat acceptance, is it disincentivizes them to post on the platform because it has been taken away. There's a lot of people, again, I worked in television, so I know that this can happen, but a lot of people haven't. So they think of it as, oh, a social media app, it's just always going to be there. That was just shattered completely. I knew it would be banned. I knew it could be. That's why I talked about it. But I was like, I'm not going to unless, because with these new types of negotiations, and like I said, in the industry I used to work in, which like I said, I was just a basic rep, there were times where they would almost take down, like they do the scrolling and they'd warn, and then they'd reach a decision before it ever got taken down. But there were many times where it would get taken down. And like I said, other times where a takedown would be permanent forever. So I think that this, at this rate, in my opinion, I think it will probably be banned in the future, because I just keep saying I cannot see China actually selling it. I just can't. I think that China is going to try to pressure the US government to change or go into an act of Congress or something, but that's never going to happen. That is not going to happen, especially when people all across the aisle within Congress are very, very in support of this ban. So just understand that you got to prepare. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. Use this time as a soft launch. You have a bit of a grace period. Most creators have a bit of a grace period at this time, but I'm mostly focused on anti-FA. But in terms of fat acceptance, I still think there will be even less posting. There will be even less people doing things, because their faith in TikTok has just shattered completely. Because like I said, a lot of people don't think something like this is possible, and now everybody knows it is. So yeah, don't think that this is a wrap, this is over, this is this, this is that. No. If it gets sold, then we'll talk about it on the channel again. And I'll be like, okay, it's here to stay. If not, I will probably revisit this one more time when it is completely banned. But all I can say is the impacts of this are essentially, there's going to be a huge lack of confidence within fat acceptance TikTok. There's going to be much less of an incentive to post. And this is a time when anti-FA YouTubers need to start preparing for a time without it. Because it's not something you can think, oh, it'll be fine. No, it's not like that. So, and like I said, I only say this because I don't want people to give up. Because all this does is it delays it. It's not done. It's not over. It's not any of that. Not unless if it's sold. So anyways, we will cover it again if things change. But I'm not really going to talk about it as much anymore. As I said, on this channel, come hell or high water, we are continuing. Period. I've said that about my weight loss too. Come hell or high water, I'm losing the weight. I still got stuff cooking for February. I still got plans. I have a whole new era coming in, my mid era, which I already have ideas. So we're moving forward here for sure. I just want all the rest of us to move forward too. So yeah, please listen, please prepare, okay? But other than that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. For those of you who enjoy TikTok, hopefully it does get sold so that it will stay long term. But if not, then I guess prepare for a world without it, just in case, until things change. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, night, etc. Peace.